Welcome back to the Arizona Daily Mix. It's my favorite financial advisor, Cindy of Cinergy, who's helping me with a lot of different things going on in my life. But one, Cindy, is the living trust and will to protect my assets that a lot of people really don't like to discuss. I know during COVID, people lost family members and got lost in the whole shuffle of their assets. Let's talk a little about this.
Well, first things first, estate planning isn't just for the rich. If you have an asset, you need an estate plan because that asset needs to go to someone when you pass in an efficient and cost effective way. So, my biggest tip before we get started here today, Brad, thanks for having me as usual, is if you have a bank account, you have a checking account, you have an IRA, you have an asset, please go to your bank and add a beneficiary. Over my 35-year career, I have seen husband and wives come in my office, one of them pass away, and they may have an account just in their name, and the wife has to go through probate.
Ah, it's amazing, as you said there, how many people don't want to put a beneficiary on
Yeah,
their accounts. I mean, I have it for my accounts, all of them, but
good.
because that gets tied up in court, and they actually can lose that money too because they might not know about it.
Yeah, I mean, with all these online logins, I mean, I had a client come to my office, true story. She lost her husband suddenly of a heart attack. She comes in and said, I really didn't get involved in handling the finances. However, this is what I think I have. And I had asked her, hey, could you give me last year's tax return for me? And she brought it in. I said, your husband had accounts with Vanguard and Scudder. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, it's on your tax return. We found $250,000 because she was not aware of where her husband had put all their assets.
Wow. And again, it's just easy by putting that down, sitting and talking with them, when it's important. Okay, let's talk about, if we can, the taxes on those, because a lot of people think, well, I don't want to leave like a big financial problem to my family members. But when you set up that trust and you set up that will, there's a lot of tax breaks that go into them. Am I right?
Yeah, so a will unfortunately still goes to probate, which means the court system will designate your beneficiary based on your family tree. A trust, on the other hand, does not go through probate. Immediately, if someone passes within weeks, your assets are transferred to those people who are listed in your trust. So a trust is a little bit more expensive. How much is a trust? Well, for our Cinergy clients, we get our clients discounts. So you're looking maybe $1,000, $1,500 to do a trust. A basic will might be a few $100s, but it's really important in that trust, you also get a power of attorney and a healthcare directive, because if you become incompetent or get sick, we need to know who will be your agent. And those agents are put in the trust. And every American needs a power of attorney in case they get incompetent or if they get hospitalized, who is going to be their healthcare directive.
Yeah. I heard that there's a certain age that you need to be to make one of these trusts. Is that true?
No, I mean, if you have an asset, I had an 18-year-old inherit a tremendous amount of money due to an accident. And when he got that money, we immediately set up a trust for him and allocated his assets in the trust so that if something happened to him, it would go to his beneficiaries quite quickly. But without a trust or without a beneficiary, folks, this is the hangups that you're going to have to deal with. 6 to 8 months before you get your assets. And probate fees range sometimes between 2 to 5% of the value of that asset. So it's better to have a beneficiary or a trust so that that goes cleanly and quickly to the ones you love.
So, okay. I'm going to see if I can stump you, Cindy. All right.
Okay.
You ready?
Lord, I'm ready.
Can a trust be put into another trust? So in other words, if someone left me something, could I start a trust and move that money into that trust?
Absolutely. So let me give an example. Let's say my mother has a trust and she leaves the asset to me. So when the asset comes over to me, I'm going to set it up in my new trust in my name, so that if something happens to me, I leave it to my children. So yes, you can immediately set up a trust in your name once you inherit the asset from a parent or a loved one.
So, and do I get taxed? I mean, that's the thing I wonder about. Some people say that if you don't touch anything, you're okay.
Yeah, so that's a great question with Biden new tax laws. He's trying to eliminate what I say. So let's say I have a house I bought for 100,000 and now it's worth $1 million and I die. In the past, I could transfer that house and my kids would have no capital gains. Okay, you get a full increase in basis. He's trying to change that, but with the Senate divided 50-50, we don't think that's going to change. So any appreciable assets, such as a stock, a home, they get a full increase in basis. That means that you, the beneficiary, don't necessarily have to pay the tax. Now, if you have an IRA, or some other investment, it has to be rolled properly because the new laws are if you're a non-spouse, which means, let's say my father's passed and my mom has an IRA and she inherits, I inherit that. The new law is I have 10 years to pay the tax on that IRA. So if you are in the process of settling an estate or you've just lost someone, please reach out because that's what we specialize in helping people avoid taxes on the transfer of your assets.
Got it. Got it. Cindy, you are so helpful. I want to spend more time with you, but I know we got to wrap it up. So how can people spend more time with you?
Absolutely. So we, first of all, are giving away 10 books of redefining financial literacy, and financial literacy is becoming a big buzzword today. They can go on Amazon and download it. So we're not only going to give the first 10 callers a free book, we're going to give you access to me for 30 minutes to answer any questions that you might have. Our 1-800 number can be reached at 1-888-210-8777. So please reach out. We're here to answer your questions and hold your hand through any life change that you might have.
Cindy, I appreciate it. And you have been holding my hand here and there, here and there. So I appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.